Let's go live now to Dr. Malcolm Parmenter, CEO of Healius. Thank you so much for your time, Doctor.
Thank you, Janie. Good to be with you.
Great to be with you as well. We just heard from Minister Greg Hunt there in Canberra talking about COVID and how we are a country so highly vaccinated. We are seeing a huge increase in Omicron cases across overseas and certainly here as well. Now, in terms of testing, we're seeing places like Bondi, for example, just lines of cars piled up from early hours of this morning. Testings are increasing. People are travelling. They need to get those tests. What are we likely to see? Because at this stage, 148,937 tests were recorded in the last 24 hours in New South Wales alone.
I think the system's nearing capacity in terms of its ability to provide PCR testing. And look, labs will continue to increase their supply, but you tend to run out of people to do it. It's not so much collectors and couriers, but the more expert people, like molecular scientists that actually run the machines in the labs are in relatively short supply. So the testing capacity isn't endless.
Well, I know you yourself were out in one of the lockdowns testing people. How did you go?
Yes. Oh, look, it's a tough job, right? The weather isn't always 20 degrees and pleasant. It can be 40 degrees and sunny, or snow in winter, and not everybody comes in a four-wheel drive with their nostrils at head height. So it's pretty physical, and I feel for the people who've been doing that. They've been doing it all year with surge requirements being quite enormous at times. Where they're working long hours, and the physicality of the job that they're doing means that it's incredibly demanding on the people that are doing it. And look, they're facing now another Christmas without a break again, in terms of providing those services.
We're seeing overseas, Doctor, in the UK, for example, around 550,000 tests, PCR tests being taken a day, and it's looking at almost doubling there. No doubt, as we've been speaking this morning about those increased tests, but also the turnaround time. What are we expecting the more tests that we do have? How soon will we get the results?
Oh, look, I think turnaround times are still good. I think the providers of testing are acutely aware of how many they can collect and still process, I think, is where it is. Most labs have got laboratories in other states. And so they are able to share that work around a little bit if the demand is lower in some other locations, and fly testing to there. But at the moment, I think turnaround times are still within that 48-hour window, and mostly within 24 hours. But if the demand really does increase, it does start to blow out in terms of where that gets to. And obviously that creates a whole lot of issues around, particularly the travel requirements through the state. If you've got to have a test within 72 hours of going, then you've got a very limited window in which you can get your result back. And that clearly creates a problem if the turnaround times start to get longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess patience is the key, isn't it? We need to be patient in those lines and kind to the people giving us those tests. But we have to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Malcolm Parmenter, CEO of Healius. Talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Janie.